Good morning, Living Hope family, and happy Resurrection Day. Praying that you are experiencing the love, peace, and hope of our risen Savior during the trial of the coronavirus. I'm Julie Shagru, and this is my daughter, Sarah, and we want to share with you a very small blip of the sustaining and changing power of the resurrected King Jesus in our lives. The last several years in our family have brought many bittersweet changes. 3 children marrying and leaving our nest, welcoming their 3 amazing spouses, 3 beautiful new grandbabies, our 2 young, precious, giggly girls becoming teenagers, and our own midlife changes. Years ago, we laughed about the tumultuous times that lay ahead and that we were now in. I'm glad we laughed then because it became everything but funny. Life for me was spiraling in no good direction. With the many blessings in our family, I was feeling unloved and discouraged with our marriage, helpless, insecure, and abandoned raising our teenage daughters. And I found some value not at home, but in the busyness of life, in my career, and in visiting grandbabies. I continued to trust God and pray, knowing that He had a plan, and at the same time, I had a sense of hopelessness. My dreams of a happy, fulfilling marriage and family were shattering. I was feeling like a failure as a wife and parent. It was taking everything that I had in me to stay. I found myself saying, God, I'm really glad that you got this because clearly I don't. I've heard it said that a mother is only as happy as her least happy child. And Sarah was running 100 miles an hour in the wrong direction. She was a prodigal, and we knew it for a while. Every effort that Phil or I made to shift or change her direction or ours felt like defeat. And God kept whispering over and over to completely surrender it all to Him. Just surrender our most precious things, our children. He called us to surrender our parenting and to trust Him with His plan and His perfect parenting.
In my life, I've had fears and believed lies, but ignored the fact that they existed. I've learned to recognize the fears and the lies that have been in my life. I believed I was never good enough or smart enough. I thought that I wasn't worth loving, and at the same time, struggled to believe that some people even cared about me. I've had fears of rejection, abandonment, and failure. These fears and lies led me to low self-worth and eventually alcohol, drugs, and more. At one of the schools I attended, I felt judged and spoken to disrespectfully by authorities, resulting in me having little to no respect for those in charge. Those who I expected to build me up were the ones tearing me down. I was always pushing the rules to the limit, I was feeling judged, and I expected everyone in authority to be disrespectful and rude. I began to give up on school, not caring about grades at all. This hurt me even worse and forced me to repeat my 10th grade year. As a result of feeling judged and disrespected, especially by Christian adults, I began to believe that God was an unloving, judgmental, and angry God because of the hurt I felt from others. I got myself into toxic and manipulative relationships. I believed that it was my fault every time something went wrong. As things started to get worse, I began to engage in more dangerous activities. I ended up hurting and disappointing loved ones. I put up walls to protect myself from rejection. I began to trust people less and started keeping things to myself. Finally, things hit rock bottom when I was called to the school office with the news that my friend had been taken to the hospital with her life at risk because of the decisions that we made. I blamed it on myself. That event woke me up from the life I had been living. It's only by God's grace and love that we are still alive today. I learned who Jesus really is when I went to a residential program, House of Hope. After discovering who Jesus really is, He became my rock, my hope, and my strength. I began to see myself through His eyes. God is restoring my relationship with my parents and my family. I now feel loved and accepted by them. Through God's grace and love for me, I am currently on track to graduate high school on time. I've been passing my classes and getting good grades in school, with God's help. I have learned to forgive myself for the pain I have caused myself and that I caused others. Currently, I am working on the process of forgiving those that have hurt me and letting go of the grudges I've held. I'm learning to trust God with my life, especially with my future. I've struggled with the anxiety that I have towards school because of my fear of failing. I am learning to give that anxiety to God instead of becoming overwhelmed. I am learning to understand the different ways God communicates with me and respond to what He is telling me to do. I am thankful for God's unconditional love for me and hope that He has given me.
Oh boy, has God been hard at work in Sarah's life, in my life, in our marriage, and our family. He never stops working. Jesus told us that life would be hard and can be really messy. In His words, He said, "You will have trials and tribulation." Today, celebrate and take heart, for He has overcome the world. He raises the dead, gives sight to the blind, heals the sick, restores broken relationships, and so much more. A famous father in the Bible said, "Let's have a feast and celebration, for this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." That son or daughter is Sarah. It's me. It's you. It's every one of us who proclaims Jesus as Lord and Savior. Hoping that today you are celebrating with us the resurrection power of our risen King Jesus.